Morning Sangha with Elm Community Insight. My name is Joy Burns. Today is November 14th of 2020, and the topic of my talk, the title from my talk, the original title was The Hot Mess versus Right Effort. Um, and yet, as is frequently the case, current events are intervening. And so I probably will talk about the hot mess some other time in another talk. And I think today is evolving into uh, how do we meet the COVID-19 pandemic with right effort. Um, and so I'm going to read a poem that is by the poet laureate of the United States. Her name is Joy Harjo, and it's from a book, Conflict Resolution for Holy Beings. The title of the poem is For Calling the Spirit Back from Wandering the Earth in Its Human Feet. Put down that bag of potato chips, that white bread, that bottle of pop. Turn off that cell phone, computer, and remote control. Take a breath offered by friendly winds. They travel the earth, gathering essences of plants to clean. Give it back with gratitude. If you sing, it will give your spirit lift to fly to the stars' ears and back. Acknowledge this earth who has cared for you since you were a dream, planting itself precisely within your parents' desire. Let your moccasin feet take you to the encampment of the guardians who have known you before time, who will be there after time. They sit before the fire that has been there without time. Let the earth stabilize your post-colonial insecure jitters. Be respectful of the small insects, birds, and animal people who accompany you. Ask their forgiveness for the harm we humans have brought down upon them. Don't worry. The heart knows the way, though there may be high rises, interstates, checkpoints, armed soldiers, massacres, wars, and those who will despise you because they despise themselves. The journey might take you a few hours, a day, a year, a few years, 100, 1,000, or even more. Watch your mind. Without training it, might run away and leave your heart for the immense human feast set by the thieves of time. Do not hold regrets. When you find your way to the circle, to the fire kept burning by the keepers of your soul, you will be welcomed. You must clean yourself with cedar, sage, or other healing plant. Cut the ties you have to failure and shame. Let go the pain you are holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Let go the pain of your ancestors to make way for those who are heading in our direction. Ask for forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. These helpers take many forms: animal, element, bird, angel, saint, stone, or ancestor. Call your spirit back. It may be caught in corners and creases of shame, judgment, and human abuse. You must call in a way that your spirit will want to return. Speak to it as you would to a beloved child. Welcome your spirit back from its wandering. It may return in pieces, in tatters. Gather them together. They will be happy to be found after being lost for so long. Your spirit will need to sleep a while after it is bathed and given clean clothes. Now you can have a party. Invite everyone you know who loves and supports you. Keep room for those who have no place else to go. Make a giveaway and remember, keep the speeches short. Then you must do this. Help the next person find their way through the dark. For any spark to make a song, it must be transformed by pressure. There must be unspeakable need, muscle of belief, and wild, unknowable elements. I am singing a song that can only be born after losing a country. So this month's topic for our Sangha's Dhamma talks is right effort. And it seems so apropos for this moment when the COVID pandemic is spreading across the street where I live, the town where I live, the state where I live, the country I live, the planet we live on. How do we bring the Eightfold Path to this moment? I'm going to bring back some of my old talk because there's a couple of pieces of it that really make sense to me in this moment. The COVID pandemic is like the classic definition of what a hot mess is. Here it is from the Urban Dictionary. A person or thing that is spectacularly unsuccessful or disordered, especially one that is a source of particular and peculiar fascination. A state of total disarray while still maintaining an undeniable attractiveness or allure. I mean, we can't help but be checking in the news every day. What are the numbers? What state is now on lockdown? What country is on lockdown? Where are the places we can't go? Have they closed the restaurants to indoor dining yet? You know, the pandemic is fascinating and you can spend hours reading about it or watching TV stories and interviews with people who have it, people who had it, people who are trying not to get it, people who don't believe in it, people who do believe in it. So yes, the pandemic itself is the classic definition of what a hot mess is. And when I was thinking about this talk, the important piece was that uh, I had said to Tracy and Cormac and Lee a few months ago when we were sitting together before the pandemic, you know, it was really surprising that you all invited me to be one of the teachers because I'm a hot mess. And they said, yeah, so what? So am I. Who cares? You're not alone. I'll let you figure out which one of them said each one of those because they're so characteristic of each personality. That the thing about the hot mess that underlies it for me was that hurt people hurt people. And we are seeing that during the pandemic, is an insensitivity to the importance of recognizing our interconnectedness is leading to more and more harm. I was at the grocery store picking up groceries the other day, and I drive up, they put the bags in the back of my car. I don't touch them, they don't touch me. We don't come within 6 feet of each other. And the young woman says, "You work at the hospital, don't you?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I don't know how you do it. I hate wearing a mask 8 hours a day." And I said, "I wear a mask 10 to 11 hours, 4 days a week, minimum. Sometimes I work on the weekends, and so then it's even more hours a day that I'm wearing a mask. And then I wear a mask whenever I'm out in the community. So I've been wearing a mask since the first Monday in March. And mask wearing is part of my right effort, part of my understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings, part of my way of making an effort not to create more suffering in myself, in the Sangha, in my community, on this planet. So from an article in Tricycle, the definition of right effort, the Pali words for right effort are sama vayama. So sama, S-A-M-M-A, vayama, V-A-Y-A-M-A. And right effort is part of, in the Eightfold Path, they're kind of trios or duos. And this is the trio of mental discipline, of samadhi, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Is anybody hearing static, or is that just me? Oh, okay, it's just me then. Samadhi is a state of deep meditation. In Hindu beliefs, it's a state of being so close to the divine, or one's own divinity, inner divinity. And it is frequently experienced when one is close to death, or just before death. And so right effort, the energetic will, one, to prevent evil and unwholesome states of mind from arising. Two, to get rid of such evil and unwholesome states that have already arisen within a person. Three, to produce, to cause, to arise good and wholesome states of mind not yet arisen. Four, to develop and bring to perception the good and wholesome states of mind already present in humanity. And so how do we bring wholesome states of mind already present in humanity to our present moment? in the midst of this time of harm, of so much harm in our community. Rumi says, the wound is the place where the light enters you. So that light, that energy of effort can enter those places that we might feel separate, especially in this time when so many people feel isolated. And I miss sitting in the Sangha. I miss sitting in that moment where Lee is on my left and Tracy is on my right. And I just sink into that communal wisdom of practice. And I was recently on a retreat, a people of color retreat, practicing metta, and there were over 600 people on the retreat, and it was a virtual retreat. And people from all over the world, from New Zealand, the Philippines, the UK, Latin America, Tennessee, Seattle, Toronto, Vancouver, BC. So all over came and gathered on this virtual retreat. And I'm learning about what right effort is. And what happened was I felt myself just as when I was sitting between Lee and Tracy and feeling that communion and being able to sink into that communion and having that be how I got to practice, how I was able to be on the cushion. In the retreat, I recognized that I took refuge in this community, in the wisdom of the community, in that diving in that these 600 people were willing to take a chance and do, diving into the metta and letting that communal energy bring me into the moment, into the metta, into the practice. On this website, vipassana.com, it says the energy of right effort is a mental factor, and in wholesome states of consciousness directed toward the liberation from suffering, guided by right view and right intention. So each one of the Eightfold Path folds into the others and supports us to practice.